Why are we in the kitchen? We're in the kitchen because abs are made in the kitchen, or so they say. So also, this is one of the pillars of the gloves and gain method. Your nutrition is a big deal. And the easier we can streamline this, the more we can make food something that we have a better relationship with and not our idol. So we can just streamline how this works so we can focus on that, and then we can get back to the daily things we like to do. If you notice, what you do from a workout standpoint, what you do from a physical standpoint dictates your metabolism, and it dictates your activity, because that's important as well. Now, what you eat is going to be the support system of that. It's going to help you recover. It's going to help you look good. It's going to help you feel good. So let's start with categories and how we label this and how we understand our verbiage, right? So first things first, what is the most important thing if we're listing this in order? Calories, right? Calories are how many calories you eat daily, right? How much do you need to eat to either maintain the weight that you have, lose the weight that you have, or gain weight that you have, right? So that's what our calories are made of. Now, when it comes to being in a deficit, meaning having less calories, that's going to make sure that you lose weight. The only people that should be concerned with what things say on the scale is obviously consult with the physician. If your doctor says you're obese and you need to go ahead and drop some weight, you need to go ahead and be in a caloric deficit. If you are a bodybuilder, or if you're a fighter, a boxer, power lifter, anybody that competes at a particular weight class, you have to worry about the amount of food that you eat, because you have to stay at that particular weight class, right? So the idea of calories in, calories out. It is scientifically proven that if you stick to a certain amount of calories, you will weigh a certain way. Now, the flip side of that, if you eat 1,500 calories in Twinkies the whole day, yes, you will be a particular weight, but how sustainable is that for you? Because Twinkies, it's hard to only eat Twinkies and not go into eating everything else. They're not going to make you feel very full or satiated. So the next thing that we worry about is something called macronutrients, right? Macronutrients are the three major nutrients that go part of your diet. So we have protein, we have fat, and we have carbs. And I'll talk about a bonus one a little bit later, because that's important when it comes to eating whole foods. But those are the quality of your food. Those are what is combined in the actual calories, right? Now, so from here, what does that even mean? Making sure that your food components and your nutrients and your ingredients in the food are broken down between certain amount of protein, certain amount of fat, certain amount of carbs. So that is the quality of your food. The next thing that's most important is the frequency. How often do you eat and when do you eat? But that's one of those things where it's like you have to be able to crawl before you walk, before you run, before you sprint. So start at the thing that is going to make the biggest improvement, and then as you get closer and closer and things are more important to you, then you can eliminate all those little other things, right? But bonus for you, I just finished a grocery haul as well. So I split it up between the major macronutrients, which is, if you look at here, these are all my carbs. This is going to be my protein / fat. I eat like this because it's easier for me to maintain these staples and make the meals that I like to go ahead and have. So that way, if I happen to eat out, I don't feel as guilty about it, even though it doesn't happen much. But I can get away with all the other little things. So let's start from carbs first, then we'll go into our protein / fats, right? So carbs first, we have fruits. If your trainer tells you that you shouldn't be eating fruits, do your own research. They're probably telling you it because it's easier to tell you to eliminate something to teach you how to have it, right? And then once again, this is non-restrictive diet. This is making sure that you build a system that's fail-proof for you. So once again, we're going to start with the bananas, right? Then we go with the dates. Then also part of the fruits is we're going to go with the frozen berries, strawberries, potatoes. I have a whole bag, but I wasn't just going to put the whole bag on the table. There's not a lot of counter space. Then we go with the tortillas. We go with the sourdough bread. And then we go with the raw honey. There is one more thing I need to grab out the fridge for you guys. This is part of the grocery haul. This is going to be talked about later, but shortly, right? And then now we'll go into the protein. These are the staple proteins that I have. Eggs, smoked salmon, ground beef. That is going to be my protein source. For this next 6 weeks, or maybe for the foreseeable future, I'm not having protein powder. That is a choice for me. You can have protein powder. I normally use the isolate, the IsoPure Whey. It's unflavored because it has less of all the other stuff into it, which segues me to the point about having your staple foods be one ingredient meals. Whole food is going to be the best way for you to eat, right? Whole food means that if you're look at a package and you look at something like this, right, which I got from Trader Joe's because that's mainly where I get all my stuff, and I look at the ingredients on the back of it, it says blackberries, raspberries, blueberries. Nothing else besides what I want to go ahead and eat. And so that's how you kind of look at whole foods. Another example of something that is not particularly whole foods is if I look at this organic ketchup, it's going to say organic tomato concentrate, organic cane sugar, organic distilled vinegar, salt, organic onion powder, organic allspice, organic clove, organic red pepper, organic paprika. Even that is good as well because all those things are one ingredient, right, combined to make ketchup, right? So now, once again, we got into the proteins, and then let's get into the fats now. Now, avocado is a fruit. It has seeds, but it's mainly in majority fat, right? So when we talk about having fat in your diet, which is important in the macronutrient breakdown, fat is it's important to have. Another thing that I say is fat is cheese. I use aged cheddar because it's better for your stomach from a lactose tolerant standpoint. I'm a minority, so most of us are. I'm getting older too, so I'm worried about my stomach. This has protein in it, but it has more fat than it has protein, so I label it as a fat. Now I look at avocado oil. That is going to be the same thing. That's going to be predominantly fat for you as well. One of the carbs I didn't mention, so sorry if this isn't going in order, is maple syrup, right? That goes into the carb category. And then the other fat that I use is butter, right? This is unsalted, pasture-raised butter or pasteurized butter. Let's see what the, actually, pasteurized or pasture-raised butter. That's the other one. And then now we go into extras. Extras are one of the things that you put on your foods as far as for toppings and whatnot. The main extra for me, because once again, this is a staple grocery haul, is going to be ketchup and then the Magnificent sauce, which is like In-N-Out sauce, just to add a little bit of flavor to what I eat. The other important thing, I didn't pick up in this grocery haul, but I have, is my salt. That's important. So I have Celtic sea salt, but then I also have the real salt that I use. Maybe it's placebo, maybe it's nocebo, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, right? So that is the major grocery haul. So all these things combined make up meals for me. So I'm gonna go through the list of the meals that I eat on a weekly, daily basis. For breakfast, for the most part, I'm going to stick to pre-workout. I normally do dates because I work out in the morning. So that's mainly gonna be what I eat in the morning. Or post-workout, I have a banana, right? So that's when I normally have my fruit. First meal of the day, and I say breakfast because I eat it a little bit later, is I'm going to, if we say actual meals that I have, I do a smoked salmon avocado toast, and that's what the smoked salmon is for. I mainly have that in the morning. So I use the smoked salmon, I use the sourdough bread, I use the avocados, and then I top it with the salt, maybe some ketchup as well. Actually, I'm not using ketchup for my avocado toast, right? But that is an option as far as for something that I have. Another thing that I have for breakfast is something called egg in a hole, and I use the sourdough bread for that, and I use the eggs for that. And then I use the avocados that I can go ahead and put on top as well. So if you notice, these groceries help me with normally what I eat for breakfast. Now, when it comes to lunch or dinner, I'm mainly eating the same thing, right? So ground beef is gonna be my major meat source for a lot of the stuff that I use to have this, right? So potatoes, main ingredient for French fries. I can cut these up into French fries and I can do something called super chips, where I'll go ahead and have fries, meat, cheese, maybe I put some avocado on there, maybe I put some ketchup on there, but those would be super fries for me, right? The other thing that I can have is I can have tacos, right? So warm up the tortillas on the stove, use the ground beef for it, and then I can top it with whatever I want to make sure that now I'm making tacos. The other thing that I like to make is sourdough cheeseburgers. I did a video on that before, but ground beef, cheese, sourdough. Right. The other thing that I like to make now, which is new for me, is super chips. I'm a big snack guy. But when it comes to your diet and your routine, some things you have to sacrifice. Store-bought chips, I can't do it. I'll eat the whole bag in one sitting. So I have to just completely remove that from my diet. But now, with tortillas and avocado oil and then just the stove, I can make my own chips, which turned out to be really, really good. And because I like chips in general, I've never had a bad chip in my life. So even if I don't make these things as good as the store makes them, it's still good enough for me because I love chips, right? But also not only can I have those as a snack, I can actually have this the base of my super chips, which now I have tortillas, the oil for the frying. Then I can put the ground beef on top. I can go ahead and put cheese. If you notice, I built my grocery list around what I like to eat on a day-to-day basis. And that's how you're able to go ahead and do it as well. Now, the last thing, which is the bonus for you guys, what is the equation for how you get to this macronutrient breakdown for you? Because this is the application of it, right? But the equation for you, for men, you're going to pick your activities, because your activities and what you like to do on a day-to-day basis comes up with an activity multiplier. Then you're going to pick your body weight. Then you're going to multiply that by 10. So you have your body weight times the number 10 times your activity multiplier. And that's going to be your total calories that you need to maintain your certain weight. Now, if you want to lose your weight, you go down 300 to 500 calories daily from that number that you got. If you want to gain weight, you go up 300 to 500 calories. And the reason why you do that is because there's supposed to be 3,500 calories in a pound of, in 1 pound. So if you want to drop a pound a week, you go in whatever deficit you need divided by 7, because these are daily, right? Women, yours is slightly different, but very similar, right? Your activity multiplier, or realistically, your weight times 11, not 10, times 11, and then you pick your activity multiplier. The activity multipliers for you, I'll put those in the links for you for this video so it's easy to see, and it's easy to see that equation for you to go ahead and keep hands on. But that is how you come up with the amount of calories that you need. Now, when it comes to macros, there's gonna be an easy way to think about this, right? So there's 100% of whatever your calories are. Now break this down between what is the percentage of protein you should have, what is the percentage of carbs you should have, and what is the percentage of fat that you should have, right? So if you think about this, think about 40, 30, 30. That's the easiest way to go ahead and think about it. So 40% of your diet could be your carbs, 30% could be protein, 30% can go ahead and be fat. Actually, let's not think about that one. Let's save that for a different video because I want to talk more about that detail. So if you guys want a video on that alone, let me know in the comments so I can make sure that's there for you. But outside of that, this is a grocery haul. This is how you set up your macros, and this is how you set up your meals. If you guys want what my weekly meals look like, what my grocery look like, that's going to be in the description for you as well, because part of the Gloves and Gains method, we provide all of this for you. But that's if you want more resources. Hopefully this video helped you out. But there we have it. That's the grocery haul for today.